Going to internal. Strong plane camera being activated at this time.
ATC, PLT. Copy that. Flight crew, OTC, close and lock your visors and initiate O2 flow.
T-minus 2 minutes.
CLS is go for ET, LH2, flight crew, ASIP.
Solar rocket booster camera is being activated. T-minus 30 seconds. Sound suppression water system is being armed. T-minus 1 minute. The oxygen and liquid hydrogen fill and drain valves are closed. T-minus 40 seconds, handing off to Atlantis' computers at T-minus 31. T-minus 35, 33.
Hold at T-minus 31 seconds due to a failure.
And we have had a failure. Red launch sequencer.
Retract switches. NTDFT. Go ahead. Yes, sir. We need guys to go do the verification for the LCC, please. All right, C-Mac.
Yes, C-Mac. The LCC says we need to verify using a camera, and we're positioning camera 62 right now.
Okay, let us know as soon as 62 is flown over and you can verify LCC for GVA retract, please. And all personnel are holding here 31 seconds while we get a verification that the GVA has fully retracted. Per our fleet plan.
This is C-Mac. We verify retracted.
Okay, and you can verify that it is fully retracted per the instructions that were in the wing file, correct?
That's correct.
All right, and STD? And STD concurs. They set aside the requirement to GSC-13 pre-flight contingency on go. Okay, I copy. And launch director. Yes, sir. I heard all that. Concur. Press on. All right, very good. NPDSP. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I need concurrence to VLS and MAP to clear the hold, please. Very good. And GLS? You have concurrence? Go. Copy that. It's at work. Thank you. Let us know when that's complete. NTD, we have it at work?
All right, guys.
Mission management folks are doctoring that full time in 3 minutes and 16 seconds. NTDC, DLS up 212, we're ready to go. All right, very good. And launch director, with that cleanup, we're going to go ahead and proceed. Yes, sir, please do. All right, and all personnel, we are going to pick up the clock here momentarily. And GLS, you can resume the clock on your mark. Copy that. Countdown clock will resume on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
T-minus.
Sequence start.
Handoff to Atlantis' computers has occurred. Solid rocket booster nozzle steering check and work.
20.
Firing chain is armed.
15.
Go for main engine start. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. The final liftoff of Atlantis on the shoulders of the space shuttle. America will continue the dream.
Roger, roll, Atlantis.
Houston now controlling the flight of Atlantis.
very
Space
speed
Shuttle
pickup.
spreads its wings one final time for the start of a sentimental journey into history. 24 seconds into the flight, roll program complete. Atlantis now heads down, wings level on the proper alignment for its 8.5-minute ride to orbit. 4.5 million pounds of hardware and humans taking aim on the International Space Station. 40 seconds into the flight, the 3 liquid fuel main engines throttling back to 72% of rated performance in the bucket, reducing stress on the shuttle as it goes transonic for the final time.
Transonic, what a word.
Engines now revving up, standing by for the throttle up call.
Atlantis, go on throttle up, no action, DPDT. Go with throttle up, no action on DPDT.
That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore, a transducer, instrumentation only, no action required. Atlantis now 15 miles in altitude, already 16 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center, 1 minute 40 seconds into the flight. Atlantis flexing its muscles one final time. Atlantis traveling almost 2,600 miles an hour, 21 miles in altitude, 24 miles downrange, standing by for solid rocket booster separation. Booster officer confirms staging a good solid rocket booster separation. Guidance now converging. The main engine steering the shuttle on a pinpoint path to its preliminary orbit. 2 minutes 20 seconds into the flight. Atlantis already traveling 3,200 miles an hour, 35
Path.
miles in altitude, 50 miles downrange.
That's precision.
The propulsion officer reports the orbital maneuvering system engines have ignited. Atlantis kicking on its afterburners for 1 minute 23 seconds for the final phase of powered flight.
Atlantis, 2-engine towel.
Oh no.
Press to ATO, 10.8. Press to MECO, 14.7. That's a good readback, Atlantis.
Because of the slightly late launch time, Capcom Barry Wilmore reading up to pilot Doug Hurley the updated abort boundaries for Atlantis, which is flying on the singular power of its 3 liquid fuel main engines, draining 0.5 ton of fuel per second from the shuttle's large fuel tank. 3.5 minutes into the flight, Atlantis traveling 4,200 miles an hour, 54 miles in altitude, already 120 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. 3 good main engines, 3 good auxiliary power units, 3 good fuel cells for Atlantis.
Atlantis, negative return. Negative return.
That call from Capcom Barry Wilmore indicating that we're too high in altitude, too far downrange to return to the launch site in the event of an engine failure. However, Atlantis' 3 engines performing perfectly. 4 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight.
Listening in as well, and astronaut Katie Coleman is with us. Katie, in terms of what's happening now, what's going on?
Well, they've already gotten rid of the solid rocket boosters. We use up all the fuel, toss them off. Looks like they fall down, but they actually go up another 100.